Hi. In today's video, we're going to be looking at a traveling movement that, for lack of a better name, I call back 2-3. I know it's not the most exciting name, but it's an exciting movement. This is what it looks like. So we're going to break it down. This is a great movement, a great traveling movement, because a lot of traveling movements are going to move us forwards or to the side, but if we've come forward, it's good to also come back. So this is a really fun way to come back. So let's start by just looking at the feet, the foot pattern. So as the name is back 2-3, obviously we are going to start with a step back. So if you're mirroring me, you would step your left foot back. And then we're actually going to do the next 2 steps in place. So we're not going to move our feet. We're just going to step with the front foot, but keeping it in the same place. And then step again with that back foot. So for those 2 steps, we're actually not moving in space. We're just changing our weight. And then again, we're going to step back with the other foot. So now we are starting to move backwards. And again, 2-3. So you can see, that's why I call it back 2-3. We step back and then in place and in place. Back, in place, in place. Back, in place, in place. Back, in place, in place. Make sure you don't hit any walls or anything behind you. Make sure you have enough space when practicing this. So again, back 2-3, back 2-3, back in place, back in place, back in place, back in place. Now, of course, that's just the foot pattern. It's going to get a lot harder. So the first thing that we're going to change to up the complexity is we're going to do that first step back. We're going to have a flat foot, but the next 2 steps are going to be in releve. So releve means that we are stepping on the balls of our feet and our heels are lifted as high as we can. Yeah? So again, back with a flat foot and then releve, releve. And then again, back, so you're going to drop back down on the step, releve, releve. So we're already having a change of levels. So it's already a bit more exciting. Flat, releve, releve, flat, releve, releve, flat, releve, releve, flat, releve, releve. Great, let's try that one again. Coming forwards. So flat, releve, releve, 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 flat, releve, releve. Great. So just adjust my shoe. So now we are going to add a twist. Quite literally, we are actually going to add a twist so that when we do that step back, we're going to be twisting our body onto the diagonal. So kind of opening onto that diagonal of whichever way we're going back. So back, releve, releve, don't forget the releve. And now as I step back, I'm going to twist to the other side. Releve, releve, back, releve, releve, back, releve, releve, twist, releve, releve, twist, releve, releve, flat with a twist, flat with a twist. Great. I hope you're following along so far. Again, let's try that again one more time. So twisting, releve, releve. Twisting, releve, releve, twisting, releve, releve. Keep those heels high on the releves. Twist, releve, releve, twist, releve, releve, twist, releve, releve, twist, releve, releve. Great. We just need to add one more thing for the hips, and then we'll have the base movement. And then we'll just add some arms to make it look even better. So now I'll just show you facing front. Actually, what we're going to be doing is a hip push to the side. So I actually do this one by bending and straightening when I'm stepping with a flat foot. Yeah? So I bend the knee and then straighten it, stretching the obliques to push the hip out. This, I'm not using a glute contraction at all for this because it's a soft version of it. So I'm using my obliques and my knees. So it's going to be this hip push layered on top of that foot pattern. So it's going to be flat, releve, releve, flat, releve, releve, flat, releve, releve, flat, releve, releve. And I'm using my knees for every hip push. Using the knees and the obliques. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Great. Now let's try that with stepping backwards. And the twisting will actually make this much easier. You actually couldn't really do this. I guess you could, but it would be probably a little harder if you were facing straight center. So it's actually the twist helps with this. So again, we twist and push to the back, push forward with the releve, push back. Pushing, releve, releve. Pushing, push, releve, push, releve. We're pushing the whole time, actually. Push, 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 flat, releve, releve. So this movement, it really makes me think of like a bell kind of going from side to side. If you think, if you want to think of your hips as sort of like a bell, that might help. Let's try that again. Flat, releve, releve, push, releve, releve, push, releve, releve, push, releve, releve. Back, 2, 3, 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 back, 2, 3. So that's the basic foot and hip movement. I recommend that you practice that first before adding the arms because, it doesn't make sense to add the arms if you are not clear on what your feet and what your hips are doing. So I find when you're learning new movements, it's always good to work from the bottom up. So feet and weight is always the most important thing to have clear in your mind what you're doing there and in your body. Then I would start adding hips or torso, whatever movements. And then I will do arms and head, gaze, all those things. Arms are very important, but it doesn't really make sense to do the arms if you don't know what you're doing with your feet. So the arms that we're going to do are actually quite simple. It's just this. Yeah, so one hand at the head, at the side of the head, and the other arm straight out. So you can just practice this. And I think the hardest part for the arms is getting them to have this flowing, smooth transition while we are stepping in a more sort of rhythmical way. So the back arm, the arm facing the back is the one that's going to be bent, and the arm that's in front will be out, obviously. If I did this, that I would be blocking my face completely, so it wouldn't make any sense. So it's going to be here, 2, 3, and then as I turn, that's when I do this switch. 2, 2, 3. So here you can just maybe forget about the hips for a second. Just do that 1, 2, 3. And forget about the releve even, to start getting the arms in. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. So we're just going back to that first foot pattern that we did, but adding the arms. So let's try that again. Yeah, definitely simplify things first. We just want to try to get the feet with the arms. So 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. So if you really want to take this up in terms of difficulty, what you want to do actually is here notice that the arms are kind of moving continuously and they only really land on the 3. So it's not 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. You know, this looks very mechanical, right? And this is not a mechanical movement, it's a very beautiful flowing movement. And arms play such a huge role in how the movement looks, how it comes across. So it's all about keeping like breath in the arms, letting them breathe. Think of them like branches, you know, swaying in the wind back and forth. So they're not gonna do this, right? So 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3. See that continuous movement? 1, 2, 3. That is definitely one of the secrets to having graceful arm movements. 1, 2, 3, letting them float. So let's try everything: feet, hips, arms, releve, twisting. Once again, without the arms, just to remember, flat, releve, releve, flat, releve, releve with those hip pushes, like the bell. 1, 2, 3, back 2, 3, back 2, 3, back 2, 3, back 2, 3, and back 2, 3. Okay, let's try it with the arms. Everything all together. 5, 6, 7, 8. Back 2, 3, 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 back 2, 3. I know it's so many things to think about. Back 2, 3, back 2, 3. One more time. You can do it. 5, 6, 7, 8. Back 2, 3, 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 back 2, 3. Wonderful job. So yes, it might look easy, but as you have just seen, it is not. It's a lot of things built on top of each other. You do not need to do all that fancy arm stuff if you want to incorporate this into your dancing. You can even incorporate just the foot. You can do it, for example, releve the whole time. This is a simple variation. There's so many different variations of this. I don't even know where to begin. You could do like a sharp hip hit in releve. Sometimes I would do that. So yeah, this is different from what we just saw. This is just, again, keeping that same foot pattern, or layering a camel on top of it. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. This one I really like. It depends on the music, it depends on the mood, it depends on how you're feeling, on what you want to do. But that is just an introduction to one of my favorite versions. So thank you so much for watching, for taking all of that in. Please remember to like and subscribe to get more videos. Again, thank you for watching. I hope to see you soon in the next video. I will be uploading videos every few days as long as I can. And happy practicing.